We're back on the Solution Stack. I really like that name. I liked when the art came out and I was like, oh, okay, this actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, in that same vein, we're going to be talking about some solutions today. Welcome back, James. What have you been up to lately? There's been a ton going on in the IT MSP world or business world, yeah?
Yeah, it never stops.
We were talking about this last time. I actually get fatigued with trying to pay attention and keep up with everything. I don't know that you can.
Yeah, I mean, pick your battles.
Yeah.
Pick your battles.
I understand that picking the battles, and I think that's like, if you're a business owner, you're like, I'm so worried about X, and then you're just going to go, oh my gosh, how do I even pay attention to all this stuff?
Yeah. Most business owners are focused on running their business.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these things, particularly around, say, cybersecurity, right, are secondary concerns or distraction from, or at least seeming to be distracting from the business at hand. And, the reality is that these days it's a core business function. And this starts at the smallest of small businesses all the way up to, the biggest corporate enterprises. And the difference is, one, the resources needed to understand and appreciate it are sometimes can be intense, but at the end of the day, it really should be a core business function, not a
Security.
Yeah. In general, this all falls into like governance, risk, compliance, right? This GRC type concept where it's those types of things that can sideswipe you and kind of derail your actual product, if you will, the business that you're trying to conduct if you're not paying attention to it.
So let me ask you a question. Play a little game. Medium and large. Or actually, you guys playing like the more, medium and small. So in the past, let's say between 30 and 60 days, you guys get calls, right? You could call people going, I'm having this issue. What are you hearing on the small? Just a quick little 1 to 2 word. This is what people are calling there and they're concerned about.
We'll say we get a lot of tickets on, is this email legitimate or not?
Okay. So phishing?
Phishing primarily, right?
That's on the small.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's across the board. It's probably, I don't know, it's far more of our ticket load than it should be, quite honestly.
But that's a ticket. That's a ticket of existing clients. So that would be one question. Now, they are not a client. They don't know you. You are just out and about talking, or they call into the shop and they said, I'm having this issue or I'm concerned about. What's that question?
Yeah, I'm not really involved on the sales side, so I'm not sure, but most of the time it's functional, right? Like we need to have support to make sure our operations continue to run. From a security standpoint, generally speaking, they consider that part of the, we'll say, operational side of things, in that there's an assumption that when you contract with like an MSP or something like that, that they're handling your security function for you, right? So it's not always a direct question so much as an assumption that this is included in whatever service you're signing on to.
And it's not?
In some cases, I mean,
I guess
this is where reading your contract is very important, right? Because, managed IT is primarily keeping the ship afloat, right? Making sure that operations continue, right? And there's always going to be some level of security kind of bundled into that, but it's very baseline in that you're going to get antivirus, you're going to get an email gateway for, filtering spam and scanning for
normal
viruses
stuff.
and stuff like that. But, security is a function, right? It's a business function. And if you don't know what you're trying to achieve with it, well, how can you expect a service provider to know what you're trying to achieve with it?
Which kind of leads me to the question. You're going to have people, and that might be, we have Gabriel in here to be like, what are you hearing? Like for me, when people come in and say, here's the issue, it's navigating AI. It's navigating all the freaking things. It's like they're on a boat. They're like, everything was cool. I was having a great. And all of a sudden I turn a corner and there's icebergs everywhere and I don't know how to get through them.
Yeah. So, that's a good point. I mean, we do get some kind of inquiries about like, hey, we want to use AI, but
we don't know where it fits.
Yeah. Don't know what to do with it really. And it's like any other shiny toy, it's cool. You want it, but what are you going to do with it? Right. And that's, if you kind of extrapolate that out, that's with pretty much any aspect of your business.
Mm-hmm. I look at that AI stuff because, again, I think it's the same, and I see these different platforms and applications all the time. So iPhone comes out, they have the App Store. There's all these apps. I remember the whole campaign where it was like, there's an app for that, and you could go and play games and do productivity things and sleep timers and all this. And I was like, holy crap! Now there's millions of apps. I kind of feel like all the new platforms coming out in various AI functions, it's like that, but there's no store. It's just whatever you're getting served up on X and Instagram, like try this for productivity, try this for voiceover, try this to do your scans on your systems, whatever. It's like that's what I mean. There's no navigation, there's no sandbox. It's just AI.
And there won't be for some time, if ever. So again, if you think about it from someone who's trying to capitalize on this shiny new toy,
they're building the platform on top and
they're going to call it AI, they're going to do whatever, but does it actually have value? Well, that's questionable, right? So really, without knowing what you're trying to achieve with it, all of it is
noise,
marketing, noise, right?
Right.
The people have been told AI is great. It's going to solve all your problems, all these hyperbolic promises. And then the people who are trying to get that dollar from you are going to then incorporate that. Everything has AI now.
Yeah. If every ad or person or post that I see come across my streams, plural, and we actually do what they encourage us to do by take our 8-hour day and a 5-hour work week and work from home with AI, and you're saving all this stuff, our beaches should be full of moms and people who quit corporate America working on their laptops for only 2 hours a day.
And that was kind of one of the early promises of AI, right?
Yeah,
is that it's going to increase productivity to the point where things like a 40-hour work week are obsolete, right?
Totally.
But, really, I think the trends that I'm seeing is that instead of using it as a productivity enhancer to existing teams, they're using it as a way to cut headcount.
So I'm seeing this a lot too, is recruiters are starting to make a massive presence in feeds. And that's what they're saying. They're going, I've been a recruiter for 20 years. And if you're in this kind of a position, you're a team of 20 in a large entity, you're not going to find a job because of what you just said.
Yep. Yeah. And it's having a big impact. Whether it's a good impact is a whole different story. But I think it's important to distinguish, like, let's talk a little bit about what AI actually is. Okay.
That was a good question because to me, it's like the little alien that was inside the guy's head and Men in Black. He's just like
controlling levers. It's kind of the opposite of that. So it's more the machine than the thought, so to speak. So,
and this ties back to what we're talking about, the business owners and security programs. So I think we need to understand the recipe first.
Well, and that's where kind of understanding what you're trying to achieve comes into play, right? And what tools you're going to use to accomplish it, right? So, AI is kind of a blanket term for a number of different components, right? So one of them is large language models. This is going to be your ChatGPTs and some of these other things, right? So there's then the agentic AIs, which are kind of like your chatbots and things that are more public facing.
And those are two different AIs.
They're two different flavors of AI. Yeah.
So the way that I understand it, and it could be wrong, so that's a good question, is it's like an upside down funnel. And at the bottom is the machine, what you just said. It's AI. And then it grows and it says it's the chat one, it's the language model, and then it could be a video model, and then it keeps on going from there. Is that how it works?
Right. So it's similar concepts at its core, but different applications. And so, for example, Microsoft has Copilot, which is in every Edge browser now, right? And that is kind of an AI LLM type integration for searching, right?
Google has Gemini, whatever.
Right. But they also have the ability, Copilot specifically, to be homed in your Microsoft 365 tenant. So it can access your Excel files and
I don't
Teams
want
meetings, and a lot of people do because it's okay. You get a lot of these kind of prompt tips or suggestions. It'll say stuff like, hey, help me summarize or prepare for this Teams meeting. And you can point it to relevant. And sometimes it'll just go look and find things that it thinks are relevant to that meeting, either by identifying or kind of correlating to the sender, the external recipient, or a company domain name, these kinds of things. And it can do some pretty cool stuff. I mean, the transcript, the recording, the summarization, in Teams meetings through Copilot.
That's so wild.
It's pretty neat. I'll be honest. Like it does it relatively well. But there's plenty of things it doesn't do well, right? It's kind of a stripped down version of ChatGPT engine. And again, has some, like, if you take ChatGPT and Copilot side by side, even knowing that the same underlying kind of components are in use, a lot of people will prefer ChatGPT, including me, over the Copilot implementation.
It's just different skins.
It's in part, yes.
In Fortnite speak.
But I don't speak that language, but, really like more purpose built, if you will. So again, if we play this out, what are we trying to achieve with AI? Okay, we're trying to increase our response time to our customers by 50%, whatever. Or we're trying to minimize human contact because humans cost money, right? By creating these agentic AI instances where people can, quote unquote, self-serve or solve their own problems by interacting with these agents.
What's agentic AI? Does that mean agent AI?
Agent.
Oh,
right?
Gotcha.
So it's like
answering a phone call.
Right.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yep. So for example, we looked at a tool that would answer a phone call and based on the calling number, identify you as with XYZ company and ask you what it is that you need help with, right? Gather all your information, point you to a knowledge base article, or try to provide you some pre-canned answers based on how they identify the issue that you're pointing through, or they'll say, hey, I can't help you with that. Let me go and get a ticket in the system. Technician will call you back, kind of thing, right? So all of that stuff can happen before any human interacts with it whatsoever, as long as it's set up properly, right?
And you guys have that?
We looked at it. We haven't gone that route.
Well, and that's kind of like what business owners are they looking at that and coming to you saying, what do you recommend? I imagine you would need to know the flavors of the ice cream.
Yeah. So not so much on the agentic side, but definitely on the large language model side, right? We want to create content. So for example, in my world, a lot of this is, hey, we need a acceptable use policy, right? We don't have one. We're just going to go into ChatGPT and we're going to then say, hey, I run this kind of business, feed it in a little bit of information and then it will spit out a policy and you take that and there you go, right? So rinse and repeat that across any content creation that you're looking to achieve, and it does a pretty good job, right? So and then there's different levels within that. So like things like the free version of ChatGPT will certainly do that. There's a lot more considerations that come with this, right? How do we use it safely? How do we prevent data leakage or feeding it stuff to learn? It's a concept that I really want to drive home with people is if you're not paying for something, a service that you're using, you are the product.
Yeah, they want you. Yeah.
They are taking whatever you're doing and using it for their purposes, right? But if you pay $20, $30 subscription to ChatGPT, they no longer will feed that. You have some additional privacy protections, right? And this isn't exactly a one-for-one. Like there are still some circumstances where it will take some of that activity, if not only just metadata, but maybe even specific components and help teach their tools how to do the tool better, right? Or how to be a better tool.
Is that what, so when you have clients that come, do they come with questions and you're like, hold off on this one?
So the questions we have are generally, hey, I want to open up AI to my staff. Like what
do you recommend?
What do we need to do it? It's not even what do you recommend so much. It's what do we need to do to make this happen? And usually that's where I go, hey, let's pump the brakes. Let's talk this through. Like, what are you trying to achieve with it? Well, I don't know. I just we had some requests for it and want to open it up, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of that then turns into, okay, well, here are some factors maybe you hadn't considered. Does that change your mind, right? Just trying to give some good guidance on how to use it safely and not allow productivity to be a security concern.
Is there
at least trying to minimize it.
Is there an AI platform you absolutely just say don't touch it?
DeepSeek.
Really?
Yeah.
DeepSeek. Which one's that? That's China's, right?
That's China. That was the ChatGPT killer, whatever.
For over there?
Oh no, it's everywhere. You can get it right here. Like, just know that you're running on servers that are maybe questionable, and there are some protections you can put in place, but
But really, like, come on.
I mean, it's Chinese state-sponsored AI. Like,
Yeah.
let's just call it what it is.
Right.
It's like anything else. I mean, I don't.
So,
not a big fan of state-sponsored anything as
Yeah.
far as public services like that go. They, in my opinion, are just data mining efforts. But that's I don't want to
100%.
necessarily have my tinfoil hat on too tight here.
What you guys can't see is he's got it on. Well, no, it's over on the table. So when business owners come in, let's go from large. So they're talking about more than likely, maybe they have IT in place. They've got some kind. They need like an extra you guys to come in there and give guidance, or is that the case? Or they come in and they say, "Listen, our team has this. We need you to do that." What are you seeing out there?
It's at this point, like I said, most of our clients are like, how do we use, like, what can we do with it? Like, again, it's very much a still new concept, right? So AI has been around for a long time, relatively speaking. And
When did it come out? I don't even know.
Gosh, I mean, I think they were working on some of the early AI models in the late 70s, early 80s, something like that.
Seriously?
Don't quote me on the dates, but it's been
Wow.
around for some time. And, a lot of these are kind of on the back end, a lot of financial institutions, and some of these that have a heavy transaction kind of burden, right? They're
Mhm.
doing a lot of analysis with things like AI to try to determine patterns and things like that. Look for fraud in some cases, right?
Mhm.
But, this explosion of AI in the last, say, 3-4 years into the public sphere has really changed the game. And again, that's why, like, AI isn't just something you log into a web browser. Like, people have server farms that are private, internal, that they've trained on decades of data that are, trying to achieve a specific purpose. A lot of times it's with analysis of and predictive type, behavioral stuff. But
So who owns that? Like in my mind, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the maybe United States and world is we all think Chat GPT is it, and everything's built off of that. So who actually owns the machine that's pumping out this?
I mean, so OpenAI is the company that provides ChatGPT, right?
OpenAI is here. ChatGPT is on top.
Well, OpenAI is
Skin.
on top. ChatGPT is a product.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So
OpenAI is
OpenAI.
the company. ChatGPT is the product.
Okay.
I would think they're probably like AWS or like Azure servers, like cloud-based stuff.
Yeah.
So, ownership really isn't like physical ownership of quote unquote the AI infrastructure comes in many flavors, right? Like,
So I know if
the
it's
cloud is just someone else's server.
right. So AWS is Amazon's, right?
Is Amazon.
So Amazon doesn't own it. They're just the service provider of the servers.
Amazon has the infrastructure, right? The compute, the memory, the networking, those kind of things, right? And then you come in and you layer on your application, which in this case is the ChatGPT, whatever flavor that is.
And then when they do a video one, or this one, or that one, it's just kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So somebody, if they're working back on the 80s, so something, some entity, somebody had to make that or start to.
Yeah. They had a room full of servers, and they had developers that either took a product and either customized it or implemented it, or they built a product of their own and installed it on those servers, right? Or use those servers resources to achieve that goal.
That's the scary part to me is not scary, unnerving is that who owns it? Like, we just don't know who owns it. So therefore, anybody, everybody, I know it's open. So there's the nefarious side, there's the data gathering side. Like right now, if you wanted to, shut electric cars, you go, I know who owns Tesla. There's an ownership there, a creator. I don't think there isn't that side on the AI.
Well, there's again, multiple facets here, right? So who owns the hardware? Who owns the logic, the programming, right? And then who owns the data, right? Those are all kind of three separate
They're not in
questions. No, because again, if you're using like Amazon, right?
Yeah.
AWS, Amazon owns the hardware and they own the infrastructure. OpenAI owns ChatGPT, like the licensing and the code base, all that stuff, right? That's their property. The data is really where it comes into question, right? So you may or may not be aware of some of the legal battles around intellectual property being used to train AI.
Goodness gracious, that question, I spoke at a group yesterday. That question came up. Do I have to give credit to?
And that's beyond my like legal basis of understanding. But what I can say is that intellectual property laws are still not up to speed on the technology, right? So, there's the people who own the intellectual property. They're saying this is our property. You can't use it to train. It's against that agreement, like license agreement or usage agreement, right? And then the folks on the AI side are like, well, this is kind of fundamental to furthering this. And there's been a lot of legal and political kind of tussle over this concept. And, what that means for the average human being is that what quality of product are you going to get from the AI, right? What happens to your data when you put it into AI?
No, it's all part of the...
I mean, again, it depends on your...
It's part of the matrix.
Right? It depends on how you're licensed and, as much as I hate to say it, because I hate doing it, read the license agreement, because that will tell you, right? And if you don't understand it, there's plenty of people who will. And ironically enough, you could probably run that through AI to get a summary of what that means for you. But
summarize my danger points on this EULA.
Having access to something like ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, Claude, any of these kind of bigger name ones, doesn't necessarily mean that what you do with it is yours, yours to keep.
We should all know that from social media. That's not ours.
Yeah, well,
we pump. We got a short memory,
right? and there's a number of examples out there. I think it was a programmer for Samsung was using a free, I think it was ChatGPT, to write code
for Samsung.
Someone was able to query that code out. Like somehow they found this proprietary Samsung code, right?
Yeah.
So
that's an interesting one that would face business owners. Like you got people that are trying to do something that you're paying them to do that are going and extrapolating code. So is that a breach of internal privacy and security and all that? Or is that just a smart kid pulling it out?
I mean, I think I would call it a data breach personally. Because it's proprietary information that was not meant to be public that became public.
Because you tried to use the tool in which it was built for. So that kind of going back to what you would advise is that, are you guys having to make or come up with maybe protocols and standard operating procedures of
absolutely
don't have your people try to do this?
Absolutely. So there's a few different paths, right? As far as ways to approach this. First things first is have a policy, right? Okay. We know that AI has potential for misuse, right? And that it could be significant and widespread. We know that there's a lot of legal gray area around the use of AI and even to a certain extent, the ownership of the content that it generates, right? We also know that AI isn't perfect. It can be wrong, right? They call this hallucination. Sometimes it'll just make stuff up. Sometimes it will misunderstand the prompts, right? And then we also know that most users don't actually know how to use it effectively, right? So what we like to kind of come from is a policy standpoint. Hey, you need to understand these concepts, right? It's potentially dangerous. There's legal gray areas. It's, data ownership is questionable if you don't handle it right. And then people just don't really know how to use it or what to do with it. Right? And put all of that into a policy and say, okay, now we're thinking about what we're going to do with it and how we're going to use it, and write all that down, right? And then train your people.
Mm-hmm.
AI can be great.
If you're using it. But like I imagine too, for you guys as an MSP, you don't take clients' information that you have access to and run it through to give a summary.
No.
Because that would be you putting their information out there.
Well, we put controls around it. Like, it would be disingenuous for me to say we don't use AI in that manner, because we do. But we have significant controls in place from a technical side. That's the other path that I was kind of getting to here, right?
Got it.
Is that, we have selected an AI platform, and that is the only AI platform we allow. And we do, licensed accounts to where it's grounded in our tenant. So it's kind of like a private instance, right? It's not public, really. And then we take technical controls to prevent accessing others. So if you went to a computer at our facility, or any of our computers really, and you tried to access ChatGPT directly, it's just not going to load the page.
Because
right?
you've got that on there. Okay.
Because we have technical controls that prevent it, because we looked at what are we doing with it? How are we doing it? What are we going to do to secure it? And took a number of steps to say, okay, here's what we selected. Here's why we selected it. Here's what we're going to do to make sure that that's the only one that can be used.
So if you had a construction company, home builder, nonprofit, whatever, healthcare, they come in there and said, hey, we want to have everybody use this, you'd be like, pump the brakes. Here's our protocol for this. Don't let everybody start putting...
Here's how we see this playing out, right? So, as a service provider, we advise, right? But people make their own decisions, and then we go and execute those decisions. So we can't necessarily put a gun to your head and say, oh, you must have a policy and you got to put all these technical controls in place. At the end of the day, it's their systems. And if they tell us to do it begrudgingly, we're going to do it. But we have to do our due diligence to say, here's the things we think you should be considering. Please do that. Now,
please do that.
As far as
don't be a dum-dum.
The practical application for, say, prospective clients or clients, whatever, like there are a number of different ways that you can leverage AI, right? Some people, just being real here, might not be the greatest email writers, right? Grammar, spelling, these kind of things, right?
Normal English language.
It could be as simple as helping people craft good communication, right?
Yeah.
And it can go as complex into help me design this structure, or process these medical records, or those kind of things. So really, again, it's what are you trying to do with this, and what are the key decision points, and why you want to go that route.
I have found AI in a bunch of different applications and practicalities, almost like a choke on an engine or a primer. You start the process and then you go, all right, I'm going to take it over from here. But it gets you going, right? Either creatively, or a summary can help you start thinking get in the mindset of analysis. But to start cold, you're like, what am I looking at? Where do I even start on this giant spreadsheet? You're like, Summer, oh, that's where I go. And it's like a choke on an engine.
Yeah. And that's, I think, where it has its like most baseline kind of application is, thinking can be hard.
At certain times of the day, certain times of the week.
And getting some sort of kind of prompt or direction off of that can certainly help. I mean, generally we advise, hey, don't just spit something in AI, take it and run with it. Like, there's still
think it through.
You still have to like review it and make sure it's lining up with what you're trying to accomplish, et cetera. And learn how to prompt.
I saw an interesting prompt this week. He said, hey, whatever platform, don't just be my yes man. Challenge me. Tell me if I'm wrong if you need. So you have to almost like give it permission to be like,
it?
huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, right.
Well, and that's basically what you have to do, right? Anytime you
teach it from me,
right? It's called training, right? You have to train the AI to do what you want it to do, and so that's where getting more skilled in prompting really comes into play, right? So you're looking at, okay, I want to achieve X, Y, Z. And it's just going to go and take that. But what you didn't tell it was, like, say, the context. Right?
Here's what's going on.
So
here's what you're thinking through.
You have to really be... So let me take a step back. So most of my prompts are somewhere between 6 and 8 sentences,
Mm,
right? I mean, give or take 1 or 2, but
right.
really, really dive into the details, right? Like,
hmm Do you find it's making people lazier?
oh, absolutely.
We don't have to work. I'm concerned about our kids, and I think if I'm a
Oh,
business owner, right, and I go, "Oh yeah, we want to use this," your staff of 20 now starts doing this, and do they stop to think, to have critical thinking because
well,
this
there's
machine just did it for you?
yeah, and there's some compelling, we'll say, preliminary
Mhm,
scientific, evidence that
mhm.
it is actually starting to diminish cognitive function,
I forget the medical
critical
term,
thinking.
but yeah, you're they fire when you think, but it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yeah, and
Mitochondria? Not mitochondria, but whatever, something in your brain, the neurons, right? Because in order for me, like back in let's go in the 1800s, I had to figure out how to survive. I have to logic and reasoning and all these other type of things. Now I'm just like, tell me what the recipe is, and just like here it is. I don't necessarily have to use the brain.
yeah, and
So maybe that's not
uh, uh, uh,
lazy.
yeah, to a certain extent, like there is some of that, right? In
hmm
that there's this perception that you can just type in a few sentences and it's going to essentially do your job
You're
for
back to
you,
the beach.
right? But the real difference maker is going to be what, like, how are you using it in that specialized way to leverage your expertise towards a more efficient or higher level outcome instead of
hmm
go do my work for me,
Yeah.
right? And so there is a section of the user base that's going to say, I don't care what it outputs. It's just going to check that box for me
Yep.
and stamp
Done.
that I've done my
Done.
job,
Yep.
my assignment,
Yep.
regardless of the quality of the work. And then there's those who are going to really kind of use it as a tool to refine and expand and
hmm
kind of produce a better or more efficient product, right?
hmm
So
Yep.
I use it for a lot of things. Like if I want to write some scripts,
hmm
right?
hmm
I'll tell it, here's what I'm trying to achieve, right? Here's the
hmm
context, here's the tools or the environment, if you will,
hmm
that I'm trying to work within. And then I'm going to sit there and I'm going to go through it and I'm going to look at it. I'm going to, okay, this looks reasonable. Yes. Okay. I don't understand this part. Explain this to me. Why are you doing this? Right.
hmm
Oh, and sometimes you get, oh, my bad. Let me fix that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a breakdown of what's okay. Now that makes sense. And then go and test it. Right. Not
hmm
pushing that to production. Right? We're going to go test it.
Somebody asked me, they're like, because it was the same thing. Actually, it was yesterday, I was speaking at a lunch thing, and they said, how would you use it? And I said, when I first started using it, it was like a dad talking to their teenage daughters, like, honey, would you mind doing your laundry and dishes? You're very like timid because you didn't know how it worked. In reality, you should be like, yo, get your ass up off the floor, be a contributor to this house, do the dishes, and I expect it done by 12. And I want a happy voice and tone. Like, that's how you have to challenge it and make it work. That's how I've learned to go, oh, I don't have to be all like,
Yeah. I
good
mean,
morning, Claude.
yeah. Being direct. Right.
Yeah.
Again, fluff has no benefit. I still say please and thank you every now and again because when our computer overloads rise up, I want to be on the good side of their
We remember you.
sentiment,
Take
right?
the lipstick off.
And you know, but at the end of the day, prompting is probably if you're so we were just talking about how, AI can or at least potentially diminish some critical thinking, but that's
hmm
where it's most important, right?
Yeah.
Take some classes or just watch some YouTube videos on how to prompt AI and then go play with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what you should start doing.
if you can do, say, a free account and you're not putting anything like sensitive or personal in there, yeah, go spend some time.
hmm
And I think people are again still somewhat taken back by its capacity to understand natural language as well as, you know, kind of basic components or maybe the depth of context it can understand,
hmm
right?
hmm Oh, so many questions. So many questions. As we wrap up, what are you most interested about what's going on right now in the MSP world? What's got your curiosity piqued? I shouldn't say the MSP world.
I'm still very interested in the boring side, if you will. This would be like
Elon's company?
no,
Kidding.
no. I tend to focus more on, say, business operations than technology these days overall. And so I'm pretty fascinated with like how to streamline process. And that's another kind of component where AI can help,
Yeah.
right? And you can actually kind of load in like here's what we're trying to accomplish. Here's why we're trying to accomplish it, right? Here's what good looks like. Here's how we do it now. Kind of what can we do to either make this more efficient or better and kind of use it in that regard. So, AI is still very fascinating to me overall. I think that is the predominant like concept that's out there grabbing attention these days. But to me, how you use it is probably more fascinating, and using that to streamline business operations or to make things more effective is probably like the very niche of where I'm super fascinated with it. So
do you go and if you're, you got obviously a client coming in saying, here's what I want to accomplish, here's our goals. Do you tell AI, or if you're using it, go and think in terms of Six Sigma or think in terms of lean, because that's what they want, and it'll go, here you go?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Never thought about using it like that.
I mean, setting the context right out of the gate is pretty much what I do, like immediately. I am X, right? I'm a security guy at a managed service provider that is looking to do XYZ, right?
It's like a method actor.
I need it to do these things, like, I need it to follow this framework or to address this concern, and I'm looking to have discussions with C-level clients around and like, and then get whatever that output is, review it, look at it, and go, okay. And what ends up happening is your prompting can spit out a 60-page document or a spreadsheet or whatever in seconds versus trying to go like manually enter and do all this stuff. So
then you print it off and look at it and go, oh, okay, this is really cool. Let's refine here.
The first thing I did when I played with ChatGPT the first time was I had it write songs in the style of some of my favorite bands. Didn't do so great with that.
Now the videos, the Bigfoot Yeti videos are still undefeated right now.
Undefeated.
Gosh, they're so good. And there's so many spinoffs.
Oh, yeah. And they're...
Oh, we could do a whole show about that.
Catches, it's this cartoon cat thing. And I saw this one.
The diving ones?
Well, there's the diving ones too, but this is like almost looks like Garfield, like cartoon cat. Anyway, there's a billion flavors of it. But
you could get lost down the rabbit hole for hours.
One of the more recent things that was super impressive to me using AI was we took cyber liability insurance policies from 24 carriers or whatever. Maybe not quite that many, but quite a few. And we kind of put them all in there and said, build me one overarching set of controls or kind of topics that we can help inform our clients how to get cyber liability insurance and get the best rate possible by doing these things. And it spit me out a comprehensive, essentially it mashed all those things together and said, if you do all these things, like you're probably going to be in a good spot. So
that's wild.
You can do that with quite a few different, scenarios. Again, rinse and repeat, however your industry dictates, but having that ability to say, I don't have to go through and list everything out, do a manual comparison, kind of try to map them to one another and then create my own master list, if you will. I can just feed it these PDFs and tell it, I want to make sure that everything listed in these PDFs is in some sort of master list and deduplicated and, grouped by concept or function and, stuff like that. And it took about 5 minutes.
Jeez.
That's including my time to prompt it, upload the files, all that good stuff. So
wow,
that's
incredible.
Data crunching in particular, with some of these large language models, pretty impressive.
It's the new Google. I mean, remember when that came out? We're like, we can do what? Search what? I have all the restaurants in my fingertips.
Yeah, I pretty much no longer use Google at all. I use
Isn't that crazy?
Effectively 100% of the Copilot for searching.
which is changing the way we do content because of that. And we were just talking about all the stuff we got to change up now.
Yep.
It's crazy.
All the SEO is so 2018 now.
Well, it's still there.
I know it's still there, but
it's now 0-click, page 0, because you can get the information. Like, you're not clicking on anything. You're like, oh, thank you.
Yep.
So there's the whole new way it's changing everything, which is probably another podcast. But anyways, you got to get running. Thank you very much. This was insightful. Hopefully you guys gleaned a thing or two, but I was also entertained.
Yeah, it's fun. Always fun.
Yeah. We'll be back next time. See you guys. Thanks for listening to Solution Stack.